6:32, Kansas City, Missouri's mask mandate is now in effect. KMBC 9's Jackson Kurtz live at Union Station this morning to walk us through these new rules. Hi, Jackson.
Hey, Cody, good morning. Union Station is one of the many places in Kansas City that will be enforcing Mayor Quinton Lucas's reinstated mask mandate. It went into effect just after the stroke of midnight. Now, the mandate is for everyone 5 years old and up, regardless of vaccination status in public places. It will run through August 28th. Now, the new mandate in KC comes after the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its mask guidance last week to recommend that everyone, vaccinated or not, wear masks indoors when in areas with substantial and high transmission of COVID. Kansas City is one of those places where we've seen an increase of COVID cases and hospitalizations. Mayor Lucas says it's that reason of the concerning data why he reinstated the mandate in the city.
I don't think it is highly restrictive. There are a lot of people that are trying to say it's an infringement on freedom. To me, it's really just a reasonable response to the crisis that we have now. So to me, what's very important is to make sure that if you're inside, particularly if you're inside where you're going to be somewhere for a while, make sure that you have a mask. Or if you don't have a mask, make sure that you're keeping your distancing. That's the sort of thing that's going to be important for us in Kansas City.
The city says the new order will be evaluated on an ongoing basis and could be changed if circumstances change based on what guidance health officials and medical experts say. In Kansas City, Jackson Kurtz, KMBC 9 News.
We'll see what happens. Jackson, thank you. When it comes to a health decision, leaders of the Core Four, that's Kansas City, Wyandotte County, Johnson County, and Jackson County, typically get together to discuss the next steps forward. We've been checking. So far, no new mask mandate from Wyandotte County. Johnson County's Board of Commissioners decided to wait till this week to consider recommendations from health officials before they put any rules in place. Commissioners say they're focused on schools right now. Jackson County health officials, meanwhile, are encouraging everyone to wear a mask, even if they're vaccinated, but they are not requiring them as of yet. North Kansas City, though, isn't waiting for county guidance. People there have to wear masks starting today. New order runs through August 28th, very much like the one in KC-Mo. Everyone 5 and up has to wear masks in indoor public places like grocery, retail stores, special events, and public transit, even if they've had their shots. The new mandates come as new coronavirus cases quickly grow here at home and across the country. In fact, the director of the National Institutes of Health says Missouri is one of the states that has him and other health officials concerned.
Cases have gone up about fourfold in the last couple of weeks. We're pushing up towards 100,000 cases a day now, and particularly so in those hot spots where vaccination rates are still quite low, maybe 30%. That would be Missouri and Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida, and those are areas of deep concern.
Just yesterday, Missouri reported close to 1,500 new coronavirus cases. In the last week, the state is averaging more than 1,800 new cases every single day. We expect an update from Kansas today, which, by the way, did not come out with new numbers Friday. We'll have that later today on KMBC 9 News. State health leaders in Kansas want to see masks in all schools for all students to start the new year. Kansas Department of Health and Environment put out a new recommendation Friday. They're trying to fight the spike in new cases and curb the spread of the Delta variant. They say kids under 12 are now more at risk because they can't get a vaccine yet. Kansas health officials say until vaccines are approved for young kids, masks are the best defense against the coronavirus. Again, masking rules are starting to roll out as new infections surge across the country. ABC's Andrea Fujii has a closer look at what the nation's health leaders have to say about the state of the pandemic here in the U.S.
An alarming rise in COVID-19 infections across the country. For the first time since February, cases surpassed 100,000 in a single day over the weekend, and hospital admissions surging to more than 6,000 patients a day. With cases soaring steadily over the past 6 weeks, mainly due to the more contagious Delta variant, Dr. Anthony Fauci with a stern warning.
Things are going to get worse. We have 100 million people in this country who are eligible to be vaccinated who are not getting vaccinated.
Though Dr. Fauci does not anticipate lockdowns, he says people in areas where vaccination rates are low are at the most risk. More than 76% of counties are now reporting high or substantial transmission rates. And Louisiana, with the highest case rate in the country, hospital admissions have gone up 500% in the last month. And it's not just adults. Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health in Baton Rouge now has 11 kids hospitalized with COVID, 6 in the ICU, many who can't yet get the vaccine.
We're seeing more children who are sick It's literally twice the amount of children that we're seeing hospitalized than we were during the original surge.
In Nebraska, Shelley Wachter urging people from her hospital bed not to make the same mistake she did and get vaccinated.
I could have saved myself and my family so much by having gotten the immunization.
CDC suggests the Delta variant is more contagious than the common cold. Well, an average person with a cold, they say, can infect 2 to 3 people. Health experts believe the average person infected with the Delta variant could infect at least 5 to 9 people. Today, Johnson County's health department is moving its coronavirus vaccination clinic. It'll now be at the Mission office on Lamar Avenue and Martway Street. You can walk in Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 4.